All right, good Friday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope everyone's doing well today. It is October, or rather November 14th, year of our Lord 2025, right at 4 o'clock here in the Amarillo area. We're going to break down your forecast details here in the next couple of days. We are expecting some fire concerns to come back into the forecast by next week, and then that will quickly change over to hopefully a more wet pattern before the week comes to a close. So lots to talk about here over the next 7 days. We're going to go ahead and get started. You can see we've got that nice stream of moisture plume pumping into Southern California. They could certainly see some additional rainfall over the next 24 to 48 hours. Again, Los Angeles typically sunny and 75, not the case for this weekend when Iowa comes to town to play that football game. We are at 84 degrees right now at the airport. That is a new record high temperature here in Amarillo for the day. 82 in Dumas, 88 in Childress, and it's even in the 90s down in Cottle County. It is very hot for November standards. I mean, our normal high is 62 degrees. We are 20 to 25 degrees above normal at this point in the afternoon. So it's exceptionally hot. Has never been this hot before in Amarillo on this day on the 14th. That's why we have that new record in there. Winds not terrible. They are out of the west southwest around 5 to 15 for most of us. You get back down in towards Palmer and Castro County and back in the eastern New Mexico, winds are a bit breezier in the 15 to 25 range. And then this is just reiterating that record high that we had this afternoon. Again, still could change, but currently it's just 84. Here's your planner for any of those Friday night football games. If your team is still in the hunt for a national or a state championship, you're going to have a beautiful night. It's going to be in the 70s to start, the 60s for most of the games, very comfortable. You may want a very light jacket by the end of those games, but overall should be a very nice evening. Highs tomorrow, going to climb back up into those 80s. We're not expecting record highs for most of the area. We'll have a cold front, just it's a very subtle front, ease through. It's going to bring in some, mildly cooler temperatures, not a big drastic change, but maybe keeping us away from those record highs like we've been seeing the last couple of afternoons. So let's go ahead and run through the next 2 days real quick. Aside from that, fire weather concerns are going to be that next thing to talk about, and that's just in association with that next storm system that unfortunately will pass to our north on Monday. You can see that dry line starting to make its progression from southwest to northeast. As that low starts to make its way through the Rockies there in Colorado, you can see again lots of winter weather up in the mountains, the San Juan mountain range, seeing some pretty good snow over the next couple of days, probably some rain in the lower levels and lower elevations, and then that storm system is going to track up and over our heads to the north. That's why Monday we are talking about fire weather rather than precipitation, unfortunately. So temperatures on Monday afternoon should be climbing back up into the 70s for most of us. Winds are going to be out of the west. They will be a bit breezy at times. We could even see some winds gusting around 35 miles per hour, sustained around 25. So that's putting us kind of on that low side of the critical fire concern. That's a level 2 out of 4 on the threat index. So just keep that in mind. It's been very dry as of late. There's a lot of grass that's gone dormant. And our fuel loading is a little bit above average this year with all the wet weather we had through the summer months, especially along Highway 60 from Pampa all the way down towards Clovis, New Mexico. Eastern New Mexico is above average for their fuel loading this year. Southwest Panhandle definitely above average for fuel loading this year. And so if a fire were to get going, the fuel is there, the weather conditions will be there on Monday, and that's going to allow a fire to spread at a quick pace. So just make sure you're avoiding any of those activities that could start a fire. Again, if we keep ourselves from doing that, usually it's still a pretty quiet day, even though those weather conditions are present. The bigger story, though, moving into next week is going to be this trough, this big cutoff low you see kind of centered over San Diego and Southern California on Wednesday. This thing is expected to move through the desert southwest to some degree, and that's going to open the door for us to allow some Gulf moisture to pull into the Lone Star State that inevitably might lead to a severe weather event down in north and central Texas. The Arklatex could certainly see some of that severe weather heading into the second half of next week. We are hopeful that we'll still tap into some of the moisture, but we won't be hot enough. There won't be enough instability to spark any severe weather concerns. That's kind of the thought process for right now. Unfortunately, we're still not expecting this to be a major precipitation event for us. The threshold pretty low to be above average in this month. I mean, we're talking about in a 5-day window. Average is about 2/10 of an inch of precipitation. So if we get a quarter inch of rain next week, that's still what would be considered above normal. So again, don't get your hopes up on seeing, 2, 3, or 4 inches of rain. But we do think that some rainfall will be possible at some point Wednesday, Thursday, and or Friday, or a combination of those 3 days. The temperatures are going to run above average. That's why we're heavily leaning towards this being a rain event. We might even have marginally enough instability to allow for some weak thunderstorms to develop, especially in the southeast panhandle. But severe weather, I still think is going to be kind of well off to the east of our area. I don't think that's going to be a big concern for us. Again, we're still 5, 6, 7 days away from this coming to fruition. So something to monitor. But as of right now, severe weather should be east of us. Some rain chances, at least we're kind of in that window of opportunity. It's not going to be as much as Dallas, Fort Worth, won't be as much as Texarkana, won't be as much as Little Rock, but we could certainly see some meaningful moisture, maybe not a huge amount, but enough to maybe keep our fire weather concerns at bay for a short period of time. We've gone ahead and bumped up that rain chance Thursday to 40%. Models are starting to come into pretty good agreement that something measurable is going to be possible. There's about a 40 or 50% chance that measurable rain occurs in the Amarillo on Thursday based off of ensembles. And so they're, again, starting to show a decent signal, even though we are still 6 days away. And then Friday, we're going to hang on to about a 30% chance of precipitation. And those temperatures will be a little colder too, because we won't see as much sunshine. So a definitely nice change of pace compared to where we've been. That is all I've got for you guys this afternoon. Thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like button below. It's free for you. It's free for us. It just helps us out a bit. And then make sure to tune in tonight at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. This is our last week of the Blitz. And so that's when we'll have our four quarters. The sport's going to start to get a little